some of my favorite things, which are hiking and time in nature. So I'm combining two of them there. That's when I have time, right? So during my busy work day, I don't have time to go do that. That might be on a weekend. So let's talk about how to, we'll talk about how to do them in just a moment. But first, yeah, we're talking about integrating them into the busy day. Yes, we're talking about how now. I lost my train of thought there for a second. But first, so is to realize and to accept and to know that when we start telling ourselves, I don't have time for this, that is a myth. It is not true. It is a lie that our amygdala is making us believe and make up and say to ourselves. So I don't have time for this is a myth. So keeping that in mind. And I'm going to show you how. You might not see how that's true, but I'm going to show you how right now. So mini doses, mini practices, I already mentioned that. So doing mini or very short or even micro versions of the things on the previous slide. So a mini version of slow, deep breathing that we're going to do together is called 3 big breaths, where you just stop and you take 3 big breaths. I think I've got that for under number 4 there. We're going to do 3 big breaths in just a second. So mini doses. Another way to make sure that you get this into your busy day is stapling. So you could take the example of 3 big breaths and then staple or tie or attach that mini practice to another routine daily activity, another routine activity in your day. So for example, everyone brushes their teeth, hopefully twice a day. Those are routine activities that you're doing every day. So you could attach or staple 3 big breaths to each time you brush your teeth. And so now you've got a mini practice twice a day. And then minimum dosage. So you could think about, okay, what's the very minimum amount that I want to get into my day to day? Maybe it's 3 big breaths. Maybe it's 2 minutes of, or maybe 5 minutes of walking, right? That would be physical activity. So maybe you can fit in 5 minutes of walking, where you just focus on the walking and you notice, how do I feel before I take that 5-minute walking break, and how do I feel after I take that walking break? And if you notice even the smallest amount of improvement in how you were feeling before, then you know that you're on your way to completing your stress response cycle. So this is a great place to start. And then once you implement those things, it does get easier to build in more of those things. I want to share a client story, so just an example of how this has really helped and worked for one of my clients, and then we're going to do some examples. Okay, so I want to share a story about my client Erica, and I have permission to share her story. So she's one of my one-on-one coaching clients, and she is a local business owner. So she runs a family business called South Creek Roofing Company. She's a busy mom of 2, and she her brother is the owner, and she manages the company. So really, really busy. And she came to me and started my one-on-one coaching program. And she set a really big goal for herself that she wanted to hit in 4 months. And she came to me for stress and burnout. She heard me talk about these kinds of things. And in our first few meetings, there were tears. There was just a lot of stress and burnout going on. So she set a big goal, a big 4-month goal for bringing down the levels of stress and burnout. And she hit it in, I think it was 6 weeks. It was a few months ago now, so I forget, but she hit her goal in 6 weeks, and we implemented several strategies, but a few of them were 3 big breaths, taking walking breaks, and we built these in slowly. So we didn't put them all just in the beginning because that might have been overwhelming, but we looked at strategically and intentionally putting these into her busy day, some during the busy work day, some after work hours, but we did 3 big breaths. We did some other mini doses, but we implemented mini doses throughout her busy day. She hit her 4-month goal in 6 weeks, which was amazing. And then she set a new goal for 3 months, and she hit that one in, I think, 6 weeks also. And so now we're just working on, she's still a current client, and we're working on just maintaining that and building in more routines and processes. And the second one was around bringing balance to her life and to her hormones. So she's going through the hormonal change that us ladies get get the joy of going through the whole menopause experience. And I mention that because stress plays an important role in interaction with hormones. So when we're experiencing stress and high levels of stress, it affects our hormones, and it definitely affects the experience that we go through for perimenopause and menopause. And I speak for this one, I speak from experience as well. Both me personally going through it, and I've been studying, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dr. Mindy Pelz, but she's an expert in women's hormones and health, and I've been studying in her academy for over 3 years now, and so now I'm starting to bring that work into my work with clients as well. Okay, so just a little story of how impactful and how helpful these things can be. Okay, so integrating it into the busy day, we're going to do some mini practices. So let me just check time and see how much time we have. Okay, cool. I think we can spend about 10 minutes total. All right, so let's try 3 big breaths together. So go ahead and put your things aside. We're going to do a seated practice, and then a couple standing practices, and then maybe sitting down again. So first, just take a moment, check in, notice how you are. How's your body? How's your energy? Notice what kind of emotions are present. And what your mind is doing, maybe how fast thoughts are coming and going. And then just to notice, and then let go of all of that. And we're going to do 3 big breaths, and we'll do a few other things, then we'll check in and see how you're doing after we practice. So 3 big breaths. It's just 3 breaths that are longer, slower, deeper than your regular breath. And I'll give us a begin signal in just a moment. But you can't mess it up. Sometimes people are like, can you do an example, or can you explain more? And for this one, I say, no, I'm not going to do an example. For the other practices, I will, because this one, it's just, you can't go wrong. It's just breathing. So just 3 breaths. You do it however you want to do it. Maybe we're all going to do it different, and that's fine. 3 breaths that are longer, slower, and deeper than usual. You can close your eyes if you like, or you can have them open. I'll keep mine open just because I'm leading us. But I'll go ahead and sit down with you. And so I'll give us a go signal, and then when you've completed your 3 breaths, just open your eyes and bring your attention back to our time together. Okay? 3 big breaths. Ready and begin. Giving that a try. So 3 big breaths. So probably took us 30 or 40 seconds. And raise your hand if you notice a shift, a positive shift, any difference at all, any positive difference at all. All hands going up. Amazing. So it was just 30 or 40 seconds. And since you did notice a positive shift, you might have completed your stress response cycle. You might have partially completed your stress response cycle. So it's just as simple as that, 30 to 40 seconds. And then I'm going to share some others with you. So I invite you to stand up. You could also do these ones sitting, but we do so much sitting in life that it might be nice to stand up. And then feel free to spread out if you want to. You're actually going to need about this much space around you. Yeah, nice. Okay, and we're going to start with some shoulder rolls. I'm going to share some mindful movement with you. And we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So you're just doing shoulder rolls, shoulder circles. And then we're going to bring in the ABCs of mindful movement. So we're going to inhale the shoulders up and back, and then exhale the shoulders forward and down and forward. Inhaling up and back, exhaling down and forward. You can have your eyes open or closed. Nice. And then focus your attention on where you feel this and how this movement feels in your body. And then going in the other direction. Inhaling the shoulders back and up, exhaling the shoulders forward and down. And focusing your attention on your body and noticing the sensations with this movement and how this movement feels. And you can go fast or slow. But slow gets more attention from the brain and creates an opportunity for neuromuscular re-education, which can help to reduce pain and improve mobility. Okay, release and relax, maybe shake it out if that feels good. And if your body, I'm seeing Cameron do some neck movements, which is great. If you're noticing some movement that your body needs and it's different from what I'm having us do, please feel free to do that. It means that you're paying attention to your body. Mind-body awareness is really important for all of us, but especially with stress, because our bodies are always talking to us, but when we get busy and stressed, we ignore it. And then that's how it turns into problems. So mind-body awareness is great, and these practices help with that too. Okay, let's do some rhythmic thoracic breathing. So for this one, you're gonna start with your hands like this, or one on top of the other, or the self-hug. This is my favorite, so I'm gonna do this one, but you do what works for you. And then inhale, open, expand the chest, open the arms, looking up if it's okay on your neck, and then exhaling and bringing it back to the start. And then just same, inhaling, opening, expanding the chest, and then exhaling, coming back to the start. Great job. So just keep going at your own pace. If your shoulders need a break, take a break. But what we're doing here, if you can inhale and really expand the chest as you open, it brings mobility to the rib cage and the upper back area, which doesn't get a lot of movement and motion during the day, the little intercostal muscles, and it can get really stiff and stuck. So this movement can help to bring mobility there, and it might even release some tension and pain in the upper back. The last piece of this, and again, take a break if you need to, is rhythmic breathing. So on the next inhale, we're going to inhale to the count of 4, and then exhale twice as long. So inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling twice as long to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more on your own like that. Shake it out if that feels good. Awesome. So the breathing that we did, this rhythmic breath that we did, there's many rhythms to breathe in, but with this one, when we make the exhales longer than the inhales, it's a deep breathing practice that gets us from the stress response to the calm response. So when we're stressed, we breathe in a different rhythm. When we're completely calm, so like if you watch someone sleeping, especially a baby, their exhales will be twice as long as their inhales. So we can reverse engineer it. So if we're feeling stressed and our breathing gets shorter, then we can change our breathing to reduce the stress and to change how we feel. So go ahead and have a seat. So that was just a couple little mindful movement practices where we combined physical activity. We combined physical activity, so that was the movement, with meditation. The meditation, the mindfulness, was when I asked you to focus on how that movement felt in your body. And then the slow, deep breathing. You might remember I talked about inhaling the shoulders up and back, exhaling the shoulders down and forward, and we were doing slow movements. So we actually combined physical activity, meditation, and slow, deep breathing in just those 2 activities right there. And so take a moment now and notice how you're feeling. Before the 3 big breaths, I had you check in. And so after doing just those 3 practices, just take a moment to notice. And I'd love to hear from you if you feel worse, the same, or better than you did probably just 6-7 minutes ago. Worse, same, or better. Just choosing one of those words. I know there might be more to share, but just one of those words. Anyone up for sharing worse, same, or better? Better? Same? Same or better? Awesome. Okay. A little better. Okay, great. I always love it when we don't make people feel worse. Sometimes it does happen, and there's many reasons for that. A lot of times when people share that they feel worse, they're like, oh, I noticed that I have a headache. I didn't notice that before. Or I noticed how bad my back is. My low back is hurting me. Yes, because you're paying attention. And like I mentioned before, that's important because our bodies are always talking to us. We get into trouble when we ignore the headache, we ignore the backache. And then it turns into a back spasm where we can't walk and our backs go out, which I have experience with that. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing those. And there's reasons why if someone said the same, there's reasons for that too. That might be a whole other discussion because we are getting close to the end of our time today. But I wanted to give you just a moment to reflect and to, if you wanted to make a note about how you might be able to bring some mini practices in, how you might be able to add some of these things into your life. So from that list up there that's at the top of the back of the page that you're taking notes on, could you bring any of these into your daily life? Could you bring mini doses of these in? Could you staple some of these to another routine activity? So take a moment just for your own reflection. There's a little space there to write at the bottom of the page. And if you need any examples of what a mini dose might look like for some of these, let me know. So take just maybe 60 seconds here for a little reflection, and then we're going to close up our time, see if you have any questions. And then I encourage you to, if you can, the best of your ability, to do something, to take some next step based on our time together today within the next 24 hours. So if you do something, if you feel energized or you got some ideas for things and changes that you want to make from our time together today, you'll be so much more likely to actually do it if you take one small step, doesn't matter how small, in the next 24 hours. That will help give you momentum to keep going. Because I don't know about you, but it's happened to me. Have you ever come to a workshop or a training or a conference and you were all excited about all the changes you were going to make, and then a few days later, a week later, a month later, you're like, oh, I never did any of those things. Does that happen to anyone? Everyone? Yeah. So the key there is that you get excited and you have energy, but you lose momentum because you don't take next steps soon enough. So the most important thing to do to help you keep going is to take a next step really soon. Even you could do it today or after leaving, right after leaving the session. Doesn't matter how small. Okay. I would love to hear your ideas for next steps, but maybe we can do that once I finish my slides, and if there aren't any questions, we'll see if we have time. But I would love to hear what your next steps are. To start closing our time together today, I just wanted to share things that I offer. So if you would like to work with me in any way outside of our time together today, it's been great to be with you all, and I would love to work with any of you if you were interested and wanted to stay in touch. Here's some things that are options for you. So like I said at the top there, I work with individuals one-on-one with coaching. So I offer my Banish Burnout 1-to-1 6-month coaching program, coaching package. And I also offer what I call Performance Without Burnout. That's my corporate programs that are available for businesses. So I offer both of those. The way to get started, if you're interested, is with a free consultation. And that is over Zoom, 30 to 45 minutes, and we just talk about what's going on. So you share your challenges or your goals that you might want to work with me on. And then I listen, I ask questions, and I put together a personalized plan or some next steps that you could consider and that we would work on together, and then answer any questions about my program and the logistics. So that's what happens in the free consultation. I also offer free weekly live meditations and mindful movement sessions. That's inside of my private Facebook group. Every Wednesday I lead a 15-minute practice. If you can't make it at the time, there's replays there, and there's like 70 people in the group, just a little private little Facebook group. And then on my website, I have several freebies. I have guided meditations, worksheets, handouts that you can download, and that's my website. Excuse me, is at the bottom there. I got something in my throat. It's Melissa M. Wheeler. The M is my middle initial. Melissa Wheeler was taken, so I had to do Melissa M. Wheeler for my website. And the QR code will take you to a little link page that has all of these as well. My contact information is there. It's also at the top of the handout. The QR code on the bottom of your handout and the top of the first page has my phone number and my email address. So that's how to stay in touch. If one more slide. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one with coaching, I'm running a special that's just for you, for this group, or I guess anyone that's joining us online. For my 6-month coaching program, if you sign up for a consultation today, that doesn't mean we do the consultation today, but we schedule it maybe for next week or the week after or the week after. If you schedule your consultation today and you end up signing up for my 6-month coaching program, excuse me, I will throw in an extra month. And so that's 2 free coaching sessions, and that's an incredible deal. And I don't offer it very often, so that's just for today for this group. And that is what I have for you all. We have a few more minutes. If you have any questions, and then if we have time, I'd love to hear what your next steps or takeaways are from our time today. So any questions? What questions do you have? Okay, no questions. Then I do have that little half sheet. I would love to get that back from you today. And I think, let's see, it's 10:59, so we just have about 1 minute left. I'll ask you to use that for the half sheet. And then if you want to stay after and you want to share your next steps, I would love to hear those too. But that is our time. So thank you so much, and I'll appreciate getting those little feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah.